唐人，抓人呐！
Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be recapping the thrilling and hilarious Chinese mystery action film called Detective Chinatown from 2015. A story packed with unexpected twists, quirky characters, and plenty of laughs. Before we start, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to support the channel. Now, buckle up. It's about to get cinematic. The story begins with Qin Feng, a young man disheartened after failing the police recruitment exam. Seeing his grandson in a constant state of gloom, Qin's grandmother encourages him to take a break and visit Thailand. She insists he meet his uncle Tang Ren, known famously as the top detective in Bangkok's Chinatown. Meanwhile in Thailand, a police team led by Officer Huang conducts a raid on a statue workshop, only to find the suspect already dead. Soon after, another group of officers arrives, disguised as street thugs. They're led by Detective Chinatown, a rival of Huang. A tense standoff erupts between the two factions, but the scene shifts when a forensic expert discovers an important piece of evidence, possibly the murder weapon. The next day, the autopsy results are in. The victim is identified as Sampat, a suspect in a recent gold robbery in Chinatown. The gold, belonging to a man named Mr. Yen, is still missing. Sampat was killed by a blow from a hard object. The forensic team suspects a middle-aged man committed the crime, and fingerprint analysis is underway. Surveillance footage from the area is limited, as the CCTV resets every 7 days. Officer Huang theorizes that the killer may have been Sampat's partner, someone who helped him steal the gold and later murdered him to keep it all. With the stolen gold still unaccounted for, the police chief makes a bold declaration. Whoever solves the case and finds the gold will be promoted to deputy chief. Elsewhere in the city, Uncle Tang is anything but what he claims to be. He's not solving crimes. He's deep in a gambling spree and completely forgets to pick Qin up from the airport. When he finally remembers, he rushes over. Trying to impress Qin, Tang takes him to a flashy nightclub to meet his boss, none other than Detective Chinatown. While Qin's distracted, Tang secretly slips something into his drink. But Qin, sharp and observant, notices and switches their drinks. Still, the plan backfires. The dosage in Tang's drink is even stronger. Qin ends up passed out anyway. The next morning, Qin wakes up in a daze, only to catch Tang spying into the girl's bathroom. Of course, Tang deflects the blame, pretending Qin was the one sneaking a peek. The woman in question, their stunning landlady, Xiang. Later, over lunch, Tang admits he heard from Qin's grandmother that Qin loves solving puzzles and dreams of becoming a detective. So, Tang invites him to help with a case. They visit an animal market, buy a dog, clean it up, change its fur color and return it to a grateful elderly woman who had lost her pet. It's a simple job, but they get paid. Qin criticized Tang's actions, calling them nothing short of fraud. But Tang, completely unfazed, brushed it off with a grin, claiming that what he was doing wasn't fraud at all. It was public service. After all, in his words, taking care of the elderly's mental health is far more important. Tang then uses that money, plus some borrowed from Qin, to buy a gold necklace. He claims it's related to another case, but Qin soon discovers it's actually a birthday gift for Xiang. Fed up with Tang's lies, Qin packs his bags, ready to return to China. But Tang begs him to stay. Qin doesn't hold back. He calls out every falsehood. Tang was late to pick up Qin because he was busy gambling. Qin had suspected as much from the very first night they met. Tang reeked of cigarette smoke, his eyes were bloodshot, and the fingernails on his right hand were stained and grimy, signs of long hours spent at the mahjong table. Also, Tang's so-called detective work involved trivial matters, tracking down lost pets, following cheating spouses, or doing express delivery runs. It became clear that Tang wasn't the legendary detective of Chinatown, at least not in the way he claimed to be. Tang, taken aback by Qin's sharp deductions, finally confesses. Impressed by his nephew's intelligence, he promises to make it up to him and take him somewhere meaningful. Just as things start to settle, the police fingerprint results come in, and the suspect in Sampat's murder is revealed to be none other than Tang Ren. Completely unaware, Tang is relaxing at a roadside salon, getting a facial. That's when he receives a cryptic call warning him. The police are closing in. Within moments, patrol cars surround the area. And just like that, a full-blown chase begins, with Tang at the center of it all. When Uncle Tang was about to be arrested by Officer Huang, Qin suddenly appeared and kicked Huang's leg, causing him to fall. Because of this, both Qin and Uncle Tang became fugitives wanted by the police. While hiding, a confused Qin asks Tang why they're being chased. Tang, just as baffled, says he got accused of killing someone, but he himself doesn't know who. Meanwhile, Detective Chinatown, who considers Tang a close friend, refuses to believe Huang's accusations. He insists there's no solid evidence. But Huang shows the CCTV footage explaining that Tang was the last person to enter the statue workshop, and Tang's fingerprints were found on the murder weapon. Hearing this, Kantai goes quiet. Despite calling Tang his friend earlier, he now claims he doesn't even know him. Ironically, moments later, Tang calls him, and Kantai urges him to surrender. Back on the run, Tang and Qin are still arguing when they're suddenly confronted and captured by 3 strangers, members of the robbery gang. They accuse Tang of killing Sampat and hiding the gold. Tang denies it, saying he was only told to drop off a sealed box next to a van in an abandoned parking lot. The gang heads off to search the location, leaving 1 man behind to guard Tang and Qin. After a struggle, Tang and Qin manage to break free and escape, using Tang's feet to unlock the handcuffs while the guard was busy eating noodles. On their way home, they see news reports confirming they're now officially wanted for murder. Tang quickly calls Kantai, asking him to meet and to bring the case files. Later, Tang and Qin are at the port waiting for a ship to escape. While Qin reads the files, Tang reaffirms that he didn't kill the man. Qin senses something isn't right and urges Tang to properly investigate if he wants to clear his name. Tang, refusing at first, decides to solve the case. They begin retracing the case step by step, starting with the abandoned parking lot where Tang claims he dropped off the sealed box. As they inspect the spot, Qin notices faint tire tracks etched into the ground. He then crouches down and takes a cautious sniff. A strong fishy odor lingers, unusual for a place like this. Following the scent, they head to the nearest seafood market to investigate further. After asking around, they learn that the van matching their description had once delivered seafood, but was recently scrapped. Still chasing leads, they make their way to the location where Sampat's body was originally found. The place is dusty and dim, left exactly as it was after the crime. As they quietly search a dusted room, they suddenly hear footsteps approaching. Without hesitation, they dive under the bed. While hiding in the shadows, Qin's sharp eyes catch something strange. Shoe prints on the wall beneath the bed. Another piece of the puzzle clicks into place. The next day, they visit Kantai again and ask for Sampat's personal records and CCTV footage from the crime scene. Kantai refuses, worried about losing his job. But Tang blackmails him by threatening to tell his wife about his secret mistress. Backed into a corner, Kantai agrees to help. The plan is simple. Tang will act as bait to lure the police away, giving Qin and Kantai the chance to sneak into Officer Huang's office and examine the CCTV footage. Their search reveals a new lead. Sampat had a son who disappeared a year ago. They also learned that Sampat frequently visited a coffee shop in Chinatown, far from his workshop, always sitting by the window, pointing his camera at a particular apartment building. Without wasting time, Qin and Tang go to the apartment and ask the guard for visitor records. As Qin scans through the entries, he spots Sampat's son's name. It confirms he had visited the building, and more importantly, had a friend living there. That friend is a girl named Snow. Qin and Tang meet with her and ask a few careful questions. Snow explains that Sampat's son was her schoolmate from the neighboring class. But lately, he hasn't been to school, and everyone assumes he's gone missing. She doesn't know the reasons for his disappearance. As they leave the building, they're suddenly kidnapped, taken by none other than Mr. Yan's men, who believe Tang and Qin took his gold. Tang explains to Mr. Yan that he isn't the one who stole the gold. He insists he was only involved in moving a sealed box, without knowing what was inside. With a cold stare, Mr. Yan gives them an ultimatum. They have 5 days to find the missing gold, or they'll be fed to the crocodiles. But Qin boldly promises to find it in 3. Mr. Yan laughs, clearly entertained, and even offers his help. Tang, however, is irritated by how casually Qin takes the threat, and the two argue again, deciding to split up and investigate separately. Tang, however, accidentally bumps into Officer Huang on the street, who gives chase with no hesitation. After a long and tiring pursuit, Tang manages to successfully escape. Meanwhile, Qin continues the investigation on his own and returns to Snow's apartment. There, he discovers that Snow is an orphan living with her stepfather, Mr. Li. When Mr. Li enters the room, Qin is caught off guard. His face looks familiar. Suddenly, it clicks. Qin remembers seeing him at the scrapyard, where the seafood van had been destroyed. Feeling uneasy, Qin makes a quick exit from the apartment. He heads back to the scene of the murder and reunites with Tang. There, Qin asks Tang to reconstruct the events from the night he supposedly met Sampat. As they retrace each step and walk through the timeline, Qin starts piecing things together. But suddenly, a masked man attacks them with a knife and sets the room on fire. The flames quickly spread, trapping Qin in a corner, surrounded by smoke and heat. In a desperate move, Tang quickly grabs a cloth, urinates on it to soak it, and then hands half of it to Qin to cover his nose. With the air thick and suffocating, Tang urges Qin to follow him as they make their escape. Together, they narrowly escaped the flames. When they return home, the two men are stunned to find Tony holding Xiang hostage. Though officially Officer Huang's assistant, Tony is secretly part of the robbery gang. With a gun in hand, he demands to know the location of the stolen gold. Tang firmly insists he doesn't know where the gold is hidden. Seizing the right moment, he knocks Tony down and disarms him. As the two men rush to free Xiang, Tony recovers and fires a shot aimed at Tang. But the woman bravely steps in, taking the bullet instead. Xiang is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. While they wait outside the surgery room, the tension is unbearable. Qin turns to Tang, quietly thanks him for rescuing him, and asks why he came to Thailand in the first place. Tang shares his painful past. On his wedding day, he walked in on his wife cheating on him with his brother. The whole town found out, and the scandal spread like wildfire. His reputation shattered. Now, without a place or purpose back in China, he's been drifting ever since. Just then, the doctor emerges from the surgery room, announcing, "It's not life-threatening." The two men exchange looks of relief and joy, but the police finally arrive to arrest both for their involvement in the crime. Even in this desperate moment, Qin comes up with a plan. He calls the gang of robbers and lies, telling them the gold is hidden in the hospital. His plan works. A chaotic fight breaks out between the police and the gang. In the confusion, Tang and Qin slip away unnoticed. After escaping, they return to Snow's apartment to dig deeper into the motive. Qin suspects Mr. Li is the murderer, but when they arrive, they find Snow unconscious, and her diary nearly burning. They rush her to the hospital and take the diary with them. From the diary, Qin uncovers the real motive behind Sampat's murder. At the hospital, the police arrive again, and in the panic, Tang accidentally knocks over the nurse's medicine tray. While helping clean up, Qin suddenly pieces together the missing part of the puzzle. How the killer escaped the crime scene and where the gold is hidden. Still at the original location. As they rush to leave, Officer Huang spots them and gives chase. Thanks to Mr. Yan's help, the two men manage to escape. They return to the crime scene and rip the place apart, eventually discovering that the stolen gold is hidden inside a statue. Tang explains everything to the police. Sampat had hidden the gold in the statue but was murdered before he could tell his partners. He also brings the police back at the hospital to confront the real killer and explaining the whole case. Knowing that the CCTV resets every 7 days, Mr. Li had been hiding in the workshop a week before killing Sampat, concealed under the bed, the very spot where Qin and Tang noticed shoe prints on the wall. On the night of the murder, Tang never actually met Sampat. Instead, he encountered the killer in disguise, pretending to be Sampat. The imposter manipulated Tang into touching the murder weapon, planting his fingerprints to frame him for the crime. Then he turned on a Bluetooth speaker to distract Tang, and hid inside the box that Tang later delivered. That's how Mr. Li vanished without being seen on CCTV. The motive? Revenge. Mr. Li had read Snow's diary, which claimed Sampat had been stalking and even raping her. That diary pushed Mr. Li to murder him. But there's a key piece of evidence. The Bluetooth speaker Qin retrieved. It automatically connects to the last paired device, and it pairs with Mr. Li's phone. Caught red-handed, Mr. Li panics and jumps out the hospital window, only to be hit by a car, driven by Kan Tai. Thanks to his accidental heroics, Kan Tai is promoted to Deputy Chief of Police, recognized for recovering the stolen gold and helping solve the murder. With the case closed, Tang and Qin are finally cleared of all charges. Tang accompanies Qin to the airport for his return to China. But on the way, Qin spots a small bar and asks what kind of place it is. Tang casually replies that it's a gay bar. That triggers a sudden realization for Qin. He remembers that Sampat's expenses show frequent visits to this bar, meaning Sampat was gay, which also means he couldn't have assaulted Snow. Qin rushes back to the hospital to confront Snow. He tells her a hypothetical story about a father searching for his missing son, and a girl he suspects is involved. The father follows the girl, trying to uncover the truth, but the girl doesn't want her secret exposed. So, she manipulates her stepfather by planting false information in her diary, knowing he'll act on it. Qin accuses Snow of being the true mastermind, the one who orchestrated Sampat's death from the shadows. Snow listens quietly but pretends not to understand. Qin calmly says it's just a theory. After all, you can't prove the sexuality of someone who's dead. In the end, Qin leaves while the little girl smiles.